why Afenifere supports Southeast presidential candidate for 2023 presidency. A journalist asked what is my view about the 2023 general election. I answered and said the country should be restructured before the general election. And he followed up by asking if there should be an election, which zone should the presidency come from? And I unhesitatingly said, of course, the Southeast. After the primaries and the candidates emerged with Asiwaju Bola Tinubu from the Southwest APC, Atiku Abubakar on the platform of the PDP, and Peter Obi on the platform of Labour Party. And I announced Afenifere support for Peter Obi. Not a few Yoruba leaders questioned why I should be supporting Peter Obi, a candidate of Igbo extraction, against Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, a Yoruba. I took my time to explain that the presidency is not a contest between the Yorubas and the Igbos, and to a large extent, I was able to convince many. But ever since, social media has been filled with comments tending to emphasize the campaign instead of making it issue-based. Afenifere has therefore decided to address you today and through you educate the public on the ideological and equitable principles which have influenced our decision. Let me state here, for the benefit of those who may not know, that Afenifere is the Yoruba's interpretation of the social welfareist ideology of Action Group, a political party founded by Chief Obafemi Awolowo and his colleagues in 1951, with strong advocacy for federalism as the best form of government to give the federating units the requisite autonomy to thrive and peacefully compete among themselves for the ultimate development of Nigeria. The system was eventually agreed to by our founding fathers, Sir Ahmadu Bello, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, and Chief Obafemi Awolowo, and endorsed by the Colonial Secretary, Sir Oliver Littleton, in 1954, and embodied in the 1960 Independent Constitution. This is the modest contribution of Afenifere in shaping Nigeria into a federation where no person or ethnic nationality is oppressed. In the countdown to the 2023 general elections, long before the parties conducted their convention to elect their national executives and candidates, we had insisted and still advocate restructuring before the elections, proposing a synthesis of the identical resolutions of the 2014 National Conference and the APC El-Rufai 2018 True Federalism Committee. We did this as Afenifere, and on the wider spectrum, of the Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum. We did this when politicians, in spite of the monumental crisis confronting the nation, carried on as if the attainment of power was all that mattered. The SFDLFE unanimously proposed that the minimum condition for a peaceful transition from the disastrous 8 years of Buhari's government, headed by a president of northern extraction, was to have the next president from the south. This position was also supported by all the southern governors, irrespective of their political parties, at a meeting they held in Asaba, Delta State. Incidentally, this north-south integration, which is the very root of our amalgamated federation, is also the most important testament of all political parties in Nigeria. The principle of federal character enshrined in the Constitution dictates that government of the federation or any part thereof shall not be concentrated in any ethnic group or a combination of such groups. It is therefore preposterous to adopt this principle for employment, in public service, admission in educational institutions, political appointment, the composition of the executive committee of political party, only to jettison it in the most important question of rulership of the federation. In this quest for peace, based on equity, inclusiveness, the Yoruba took the first town at the zoning arrangement in 1999, and that led to the emergence of Chief Obasanjo. The current vice president is a Yoruba now, and equity forbids us for presuming to support another Yoruba person for the presidency in 2023. The current president is a Fulani from the Northwest, and by virtue of the zoning arrangement that has governed Nigeria since 1999, power is supposed to return to the South imminently. The Southwest, as I have pointed out, has produced a president and currently sits as VP. The South House has spent a total of 6 years in the presidency, but the Igbo people of the Southeast have never tasted presidency in Nigeria, and now the power is due back in the South. Equity demands that it be ceded to the Igbo. We cannot continue to demand that the Igbo people remain in Nigeria while we at the same time continue to brutally marginalize and exclude them from the power dynamic. Peter Obi is the person of Igbo extraction that the Afenifere has decided to support and to back. He is the man we trust to restructure the country back to federalism on the assumption of office. We will not compromise this principle of justice, equity, and inclusiveness because one of our own, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, is a frontline candidate. It is on this principle we condemn the PDP for sponsoring Atiku Abubakar, a northern Fulani Muslim, to succeed General Muhammad Buhari, another Fulani Muslim who will soon complete 8 years of uneventful and disastrous rule. One can imagine such a high degree of political insensitivity. On our part, we are certainly not alien to sacrificing personal interest in the quest for a national coalition to put Nigeria on the proper pedestal. In this regard, the starting point is Southern solidarity, for which we first enacted a handshake across the Niger, which had dovetailed to the Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum. We enjoined the labor movement, students, youth organizations, women associations, and every institution whose foundation is built on fairness and justice to join hands in this task of enthroning a democratic government by supporting Peter Obi. If we are sincere and honest about keeping Nigeria together in peace, the slogan henceforth should be to keep Nigeria one, everybody should be Obi-Datti compliant. In the final analysis, let it be said that we have no apologies, but due courage of our conviction that Nigeria can only prosper in righteousness. For me, in the twilight of my sojourn on earth at 94, it is too late to derail me on the track of true federalism and national inclusiveness, on which I have traveled for over 70 years of my life as one of the few surviving initial prophets. I prefer to ascend on the chariot of fire, fueled by justice and equity. Thank you all. May God bless Nigeria. Any election on this constitution, I don't believe in it. Anything like this constitution you are using now, as somebody said, is full of injustice. A lot of ambushes there because it was made by the northern soldiers. There's a lot of booby traps. All the things that our founding fathers cleared for friction before independence so that we can have peace, it was removed. All the causes of friction that favored the northern region. Mind you, the northern region, the question of allocation of revenue, security, and all that, they put it in. The stand of Afenifere at any time, even our led the Radeco people, that if the military is going back to the barracks, let them go back with their constitution and restore the constitution they abrogated when they came into power. That is the essence of change the constitution. Because all the injustices that we are complaining is in the constitution. Take for instance, you see, Buhari is now looking at you. If the election does not favor Buhari, you see the president, he can babangida us. You can say they are fighting in Katsina, therefore the election is inconclusive. That is in the ban. That's the danger I anticipate. And I hope if he does that now, I only know that he knows he'll be joking, he'll be putting his hand in fire. But those are part of the impediments that I anticipate. Knowing what Nigeria was, knowing what Nigeria we fought for, I am a very disappointed and sad person. We are not where we should be. This is not the Nigeria I carried placard in London for in the 50s. I'm sure that was before you were born. So the passion I have for going back to federalism, for going back to the constitution we made, you cannot have it. The freedom we enjoy, even when we were arrested under the colonial people, I was arrested, I was dictating When Buhari Obasanjo Tafawa Balewa put us into prison for treasonable felony in Kaduna prison, I was telling them that the type of food I want to eat, that's under the colonial people. Can you do that now? When they keep people in detention? That is the problem. That is the problem. Because you cannot have that. When we tell you, this is not a democratic rule. You are under a dictatorship in the gap of democracy. And I've said it before. The Buhari government in particular has no intention to democratize anything. You want to Fulanize Nigeria. And that is why he has left. And they are supporting Atiku. Let me tell you again. Don't believe the APC voting for Tinubu. They are all going to vote for Atiku. They don't want to leave the government. They are just drawing a wool across us. After the election, I will have to know how many people voted for Tinubu from the north. So far, so good. There have been a lot of improvement by INEC, and it's still promising further improvement. There are already rumors now about what he's doing. I don't want to listen to that. I want to listen to the undertaking it takes us. But I tell you, anybody who does any mago-mago with this election will go with it. Nigeria has gone past that. We have gone past that. The youth are breathing. Everybody's awake. You either do the right thing or you'll be burned by the fire of Obi-Datti. So no fear about any rigging. If anybody tries to rig, it will be rigged along. Not now. Until this government is changed, until you put Obi-Datti in power, you have no government at all. Is it ABC that will do it for you? Or is it Atiku? They are all spent force. And they all rely on the fact that they know how to read the election. But we are waiting for them. This government must be changed to have peace, to have progress.
Finally, sir, what are your expectations from the 2023 election?
Beg your pardon?
Your expectations from the 2023 elections.
My expectations are people like you should go to the polls and vote these people out. If not, you die in slavery and your generation is coming. My expectation is that you should vote. I have not know. Look, what do you say?
Faith. Faith. I mean love. Yes. He is faith. You are love.
Joy.
Love. Love.
I want to leave this world with you. I am not happy that I'm sitting in the trenches. All this thing I'm talking about, not for me. I am already done. At 94, what do I expect God to do for me that He has not done? All my children are well educated, professionals, and they're all right. They don't depend on the government for any job. Am I going to build a house now, or if we cut the house to drive? But for you and your generation, if you don't heed this instruction, by the time you are suffering, I tell people, I've enjoyed myself in my grave. Telling you, I told them, only they have deaf ears. Just that they regret it now. Oh, if I was not alive, he would do this. But when he was alive, they did this, And that's what I said to every morning, everybody say, hey, should I not come back? Another chance you're having now. If you miss it, particularly your generation. Lord, I'm repeating, your generation, not for this of us. My deputy is comfortable. His children are comfortable. A lot of the leaders of Afenifere here, we thank God. But we are afraid. As I said, not for myself, not for my children, but I have grandchildren. How many of your relations now are abroad who are qualified? How many who are here who want to check out? Is that the country? Obama won't come here to fight for your freedom. You have to fight it out. All of you, rally yourself and see that there is no tint of APC or PDP in this country. That is your freedom. If you fail to do it, you will die in slavery. I have studied Obi-Datti. I know his record when he was the governor of Anambra. And of all the governors so far, it was only one governor that has left office. He has not been pursued by AFCC. Well, go to the record. They even tried to impeach him when he was there because he wouldn't spend money unnecessarily. He got over it. They wanted to impeach him. He got over it. He was one governor when he was in office. He had no plane. Anytime we had to do any meeting in Abuja, he goes by public transport. He left so many millions after living in Anambra. That is his record. I ask you, which of the governors can have that record? That is what I go by. And I know him personally. He was a banker of repute. And nobody has ever thought any evil thing about that bank, Trinity Bank. People say, show me your friend, and I tell you you are. That is his record. And we have not had anything to the contrary. Others, when we're in the campaign, you hear more. Yes, next question.
Second one, sir. Thank you so much for that response. Second one, sir, is
I challenge some of the leaders of APC and PDP. They want to change the personnel of corruption, not the system. That is the difference between Obi-Datti and those people. How can you say you want to serve the people and you are demanding so much to spend billions? I challenge one of the leaders of the APC. I said, you are so active, you are prosperous there. Can your son, educated, be the chairman of a local government if he's not a millionaire? He couldn't answer me. That's why you go by. You ask Labour people, how much they pay for their candidates. That's the beginning of your judgment. Does the primary payment entice any youth or any woman? That is what you want to consider. How many of you now are roaming the streets because your university is blocked for months? And they wouldn't yield because their children are not in the university. He was abroad. He said they were the children of Buhari or was being qualified abroad. That is why I can leave you abroad when you are whether universities are open or not, doesn't concern it. It's not for you. The facts are there. Nobody should. You see, it is those of you who are enraged. That was what led to ESAS. It is those of you who are enraged that are now campaigning freely for Obi-Datti. It is those of you who must be prepared to be the polling agents in every place without demanding a couple. Not only that, those of you who will not be persuaded and on the polling day to change the figure for your agents. It's the poverty that has caused that. The people who are taking money, they don't believe it. But then a man who cannot claim 1,000 in a month, you now give him 5,000 in a day, just go and vote. No matter what is believed, he will succumb to poverty. He will succumb to hunger. Stomach infrastructure, these are the good. They are exploiting the poverty of the people. They know they can't resist it. It is for your use. That is why the voting, the registration this time is massive. Go and do it and send them out. Until you do that, No, there's no room for you. How many times have I alleged that is privy to this Boko Haram insurgent? Have you not read Commander Laomi, who said he has asked them to go and make an inquiry as to who are behind Boko Haram, and they gave him a report. Again, I'm repeating, whether you have the courage to publish it. Commander Laomi now said, those who are behind Boko Haram are in Buhari's cabinet. They are in the parliament. They are sitting governors. There's no reply. He said it on the air, and he said it's not privy. Then, Walami said they have the list of about 200 names of Boko Haram people they are going to. Have you had the list today? You know the facts, but instead of you, President, highlighting it, say, what about this list? What about this list? The man who is the commissioner in the Ministry of Communication, he said, not Boko Haram person. They say he has been converted. I don't think you Nigeria, you are not that blind with your PhD and everything around you. People somebody with more or less semi-illiterate drawing wood amongst you. It's a pity. If you can't see your way through, it's your affair. But we would have done our duty to open your eyes. Afenifere is cooperating with every branch of the labor in every state. Go and find out. We do our best. If you have ears, you hear. Those who have ears, let them hear. You will not say you are not told. You will not fall into the beach because if Papa has told us that we have had, no, I will not be guilty of that. Even when you don't listen properly, I will ring it into your ear and let the old fault fall on you. And your children will be asking you, that man was telling you at that time, why didn't you listen? At that time, I was enjoying myself in the grave. So it's left to you. The ball is in your court. You see, you remember Oyedepo, you should ask yourself, can any sensible person who is not mad, that the APC have the courage to present any candidate to any office in this country? What will be the achievement? How much is your naira in 2015? How much is it now? How much are you buying petrol in 2015? How much now? How much are you buying rice in 2015? How much now? My dear, and for 6 months, the children have been out of university. Those are the leaders of tomorrow. And you know, there's just a difference. So they have no problem. They are borrowing money to pay interest. They can't borrow money for the future of your children. What's the problem with the government? They are chopping the money on their subsidy. They can't subsidize the education so that your children will be free. Our universities have been one of the first class in the country. The University of Ibadan and all that. When I was in exile in Ghana, somebody was saying that he was going to find, advise them to find accommodation to study pharmacy in one of these countries. And the man asked me, are you from Nigeria? Why don't you go to Ife? At that time, he said, I don't need to go abroad for that, go to Ife. That was the reputation. That was the legacy of our fathers. Well, if you ask those who are in the University of Ife in those days, they pay 50 kobo for their lunch. And they went on strike when they said they want to increase their amount. Can they dare it now? When there's a will, there's a way. And they tell you there's no money for education, don't mind them. They don't chop everything. And they will vomit it at the right time. If you people are sensible to purge them with your vote, all the corruption they have, all the things they have, they purge it.